Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Mentor Live with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. My brain is lagging, clearly. Tonight, as usual, we will do about 10 is the aim, maybe more. Mentor roulettes. And for each one, I will spin a wheel to choose what job we're playing, and we will remove the job from the list so that we don't get the same job twice. When you have like 21 jobs and you're not doing 21 duties, post a watcher to update software. With that said, hey Tandaba, hey Zaf, hey Aradel, hey Vince, hey Zeros, hey Naomi, hey Sally, hey Gazel, hey Agent Monica, hey Mochi, hey Fila, hey Rust, hey Ilya, hey Shorakai, hey Melissa, hey Rumble, hey Tabi, and hey Bob. Hope you're all doing very well. And thank you for celebrating 9 months as part of the Cult of the Pink, Agent Monica. Thank you so much for the support. Yet another stream of trying to snipe me. I mean, based on prior experience, the best I can say is good luck. And thank you, Fila. That has become the Mentor Roulette hoodie at this point. Right. Shall we see what we're having? We are having a dancer. Hey Yero, hope you're doing well. Boink. Boink. Of course, the classic cleanup. In my defense, I was checking something for Naomi earlier. LQ when it says 1800. Hey Crabcake, hope you're doing well. All the mentor stuff. You change your name settings? I did, but I always let friends have their full name. Oh. Hey Redmaster, hope you're doing well. Rumble, because it's summertime, there are ads for education here in Denmark. I think, was some sort of smithing education, it was saying. If it shows up again, I'll try to explain it. If I know what it is. Oh boy, Shadow and Claw. Oh boy. What a great start. The Guildhests have returned. And our healer June knows me. Fantastic. Ah! I have a proc. Hey Jay, hope you're doing well. And Silent Wraith, hope you're doing well as well. And thank you so much, I'm glad to hear that, Wraith. Yeah, yes, 1.3k. Decrit. And dead. Hey gamer, hope you're doing well. Oh Jesus, I've seen a lot of people play bot. Have they got a rework? Recently? No. I don't even know if 7.0 changes can be considered a rework. I don't think so. So not recently. Not recently. I think it's maybe just that you've seen a bunch of bots. Yeah, exactly, Melissa. That's usually what happens to me as well. It's just, oh boy, 10-minute queue time. What are we getting? Ah, enemy parties. Fantastic. That's usually the saddest part when I get a Guildhest in these streams, because it's like I draw a job and then someone is like, oh man, that's awesome. I would love to see you play that job. And then it's a Guildhest and we're done in 2 minutes. And there's nothing to talk about either. Monk or Paladin? Oh my god. Monk stonks in shambles. Wow. Wow. Just in the exact final frame. Dink. Oh, it's Paladin. Right, I will queue when it says 1920. I'm doing well, gamer. Hope you're doing well as well. Which is the weakest primal canon? That... I don't know. I have no idea. How would we measure that? Oh, 3-minute replacement. Is it an alliance raid? No. not quite. Not quite an alliance raid. This would have been my second guess. Hey, Nemamaya. Oh, you're doing well. Hey, at least we have prominence. Crazy powerful prominence relative to tanks. Enkidu? Is Enkidu a primal? Womp. I should have known. I should have pulled that pack on to get the second half. Hey, Smommy. Hope you're doing well. That is something that I find strange. Is it, like... If someone queues for MSQ Roulette... If someone queues for MSQ Roulette... Why would they leave specifically Castrum Meridianum? My guess is it was not someone queuing for MSQ Roulette, and it was in fact a Mentor Roulette queue that left. Hey, Krakenmo and Nozerild, hope you're doing well. Triple Sprout Aurum Vale. Which job are you? Hey, Nox, hope you're doing well. You're ninja. Yeah, that's an oh boy. Oh boy. That's a big oof. Well, you can get pretty far if you're explaining if they're like completely lost. You can also always just ask if they want some tips. What would you prefer in a raid or dungeon? Samurai or ninja? I'm stuck between the two. For a dungeon, I would probably prefer Samurai, like, to play, because I feel like I can more easily handle the drifting of cooldowns on Samurai than I can Ninja, because of how, like, concentrated Ninja's burst is and all that. It's not bad. I don't mind doing a dungeon as Ninja. I would much prefer to be a Samurai if we're doing a dungeon. Like, if that's what we're doing, that would be my preference. For raids, I feel like it's like a little bit even Steven. I think I might find it easier, actually, to play Ninja between the two. The reason for this difference is that in a raid context, most of the time, you have pretty good control over when you're bursting. So with Ninja, you get to do your burst on time consistently. Hey Emily and Duff, JF, hope you're both doing well, and happy July to you too. Why specifically pre-44 Numamaya? You want the big prey poetics? That could be, Naomi, but is it that much better? No AoE life? Well, I mean, they get Doomspike at level 40. But fair enough, if that's what you meant, then, like, I get your point. Like, yeah, exactly, like, yeah, same difference, right? Yeah, sub 40 in a dungeon is really awkward as a Dragoon. It's like, wow. You guys enjoy that, I guess. Canada Day. Well, happy Canada Day to the Canadians, then. Ninja or Dragoon and Veil? I mean... Ninja will be missing Caetsu? Is that everything? And Dragoon will be missing, like, Dragonfire Dive and Chaos Thrust. I would probably prefer Ninja in Aurum Vale. Are you seeing this complex rotation, everyone? It's all 1-2s from here. How much is prominence at 50? Here's the funny story, Taldemar. There is no trait in the Paladin toolkit that improves prominence's potency. It starts at 220. And then it just keeps 220. It's the only reason why it isn't as impressive as you'd think is because, like, filler AoE on tanks is alright, but because of the, like, inherent 20% damage loss from being a tank, like, the average potency of Paladin's 1-2 combo on AoE, which is impressive at level 50, is beaten by most healer AoE. Like, straight up. Paladin can win with Fight or Flight. Possibly. No, wait, no, it can't. It can beat them without Maim and Mend if it has Fight or Flight. Or if it's not using Fight, if it's using Fight or Flight. But then all healers have Maim and Mend, so... Will you say that rotation is harder than Pictomancer level 10? Well, I mean, yeah. There's more than one button. Hey, Raging Bull and Ego Slayer. Hope you're doing in. Doing well. Hope you're doing in. Hope you're doing well. I don't know what to tell you about that, Ego Slayer. I don't think it's that bad. What class is the best dot, in your opinion? That depends on how you're gauging best. Are you talking about raw damage, or are you talking about the, like, most interesting implementation? What do you mean, Vault Veil? Also, I hope you're doing well. What would you say is the best job for solo content? If it's above level 56, or rather, if it's level 56 plus, then it's Warrior. because Raw Intuition is crazy. There are a few cases where Paladin is stronger because of mitigation, in particularly dire straits. If it's below level 56, it is typically Gunbreaker. There are, again, some exceptions where a healer is superior. Again, lower levels, there's cases where Scholar can solo something that a tank straight up can't. Because of lack of, like, spammable healing. So it kind of depends, but Warrior and Paladin are usually, like, trading blows on who's the best at soloing things most of the time. It should not surprise you that it's a tank. Samurai for the best dot. I think we actually talked about that recently. In terms of raw potency from the dot, meaning not the upfront damage if the dot has upfront damage, I believe Black Mage's High Thunder wins. Simply because it's let's see, I believe it's 600 no wait, that's not true. I believe it's the healers with 800 potency, or rather 80 potency tick dots that win. So all the not Astrologian healers, because they have 800 potency on their dot, and then White Mage has like an extra 80 potency up front. And then you add 30% to that, so they're 1,040. Black Mage has that same Maim and Mend 30% on High Thunder, but they start from 600 potency on High Thunder, and they need to make up that 200 potency difference first. And Enochian is not strong enough for that. It's only 27%, so it's nearly strong enough, but not quite. So I believe it's healer dots. But DLC is Viper. Dawntrail. For deep dungeons. Deep dungeons, it tends to also be like tanks and machinist. And then some red mage also comes up for soloing. 27%, kind of a weird number. True. They tend to like move Enochian 1% up and down and such to keep the balance on Black Mage just right, question mark. Hey Lotus, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I agree, Lotus. I would say I can accept the existence of things like Maim and Mend. Maybe there is some sort of logical reasoning as to why they need to be there. Fine. But if they're gonna leave in Maim and Mend, put that 20% damage loss on tanks in a trait somewhere. Actually make it visible. If you're gonna keep it around for 5+ years, then put it somewhere. Make it obvious that it's a thing. Actually, I'm pretty sure I should be using AoE on 2 targets here. Yeah, I should. So, I would also prefer if they just didn't have traits that are just, you do X% more damage. But if they really, really want them, then at least make it consistent. Does Dark Knight's dot count as pet potency? Dark Knight does not have a dot. Dark Knight does not have a dot. I'll say Zip. Hope you're doing well. Okay, also, Nemamaya, I'm not listing Ninja in saying the best for deep dungeons is not to say that Ninja's bad. It's more that there is a hierarchy, and Ninja is not in the, like, top 4, I believe, typically. it could still be in the like in the upper in the like in the upper half or even the upper quarter, and so be in the top 5 or 6. But like that's the thing, is that with deep dungeons there are a lot of jobs that are bad because they are lacking tools. Ninja has tools, but there are jobs with even better tools, which makes the conversation complicated. Telemann says, I made the joke of Living Shadows since the only function it does is damage over time. So that is a funny thing. I actually have covered this a few times in Mythbusters and like videos about game jank and such, and I'm also going to cover it again soon, by the way. But Dark Knight does not have a dot, but it has the other things that are adjacent to dots. They have pets. Pets don't scale like dots. Dots snapshot, when applied, snapshots your state and your target's state, and remembers that. Which means that if you have a huge damage buff and the enemy has a huge debuff making them take more damage, then the dot will consider both things, even if they run out during the dot. Pets scale real time with both things, which means if you lose a buff in the middle of your pet existing, then your pet will also lose that damage bonus. And if the target loses some effect that makes them do more damage, or makes your pet do more damage, then it'll stop doing more damage. So like they don't snapshot. They're completely separate from dots. And then Dark Knight also has Salted Earth, which is the other adjacent effect. Placed AoEs like Salted Earth snapshot your state when placed, so it'll remember that you had a damage buff when you placed it, but because things could come and go out of the Salted Earth at any time, it has to scale real time with enemies that are in it. So it basically does halfsies, snapshot yours, real time the enemy. But Dark Knight does not have a dot. It used to. Once upon a time, they had a dot called Scourge. Uh-oh. Ninja down! From what I can see in the chat, it appears both of our DPS are actually first-timers to this duty. Shorkai says, is the only one with straight up no dot? Are you asking if Dark Knight is the only job with straight up no dot? Let's see. Warrior does not have a dot. Pictomancer does not have a dot. Summoner doesn't have a dot. Red Mage does not have a dot. Machinist does not have a dot. Dancer does not have a dot. Viper does not have a dot. Ninja does not have a dot. Reaper does not have a dot. And Monk does not have a dot. And if we take it one step further, while Paladin and Gunbreaker technically have dots, they are not maintainable, so typically players don't consider them dots. Like they don't matter, right? Machinist has Bioblaster. Good point, Hazenau. You're right. Machinist does have a dot. That is true, Sally. That it would probably been easier to name who has a dot. But the reason I worded it like that is because that way I could list all the jobs that didn't have one, and then go one step further and say, by the way, these jobs don't count, even though they do have dots. It's called dot on, isn't it? It's not a dot. It's a placed AoE effect. AoE dot, if you will. I'm pretty sure Bioblast does that. Is Samurai a selfish class, and is that a bad thing? An important thing is to understand what selfish job means. No, it's not a bad thing to be a selfish job. Being selfish as a job is a label. I talk about this sometimes in some of my videos. It's a label we put on a job that it itself does not offer a damage increasing rate buff. It's very specific, which is why it is important to understand that calling a job selfish requires you understand what that means, because when we say selfish, that's not meant as a bad thing. It's more like a box we put it in. The funny thing about that we call it selfish if it does not have a damage increasing rate buff is that means that Machinist is a selfish DPS, and they have this and this. They have these raid defensive cooldowns, but they don't count. They don't count because they don't increase damage, so Machinist is somehow selfish. It gets even funnier because that technically means that White Mage is a selfish healer, because they don't provide a damage buff to anyone except themselves in the form of presence of mind. Sage is also a selfish damage dealer, quote unquote. And all tanks are selfish, again, despite all the defensive utility they provide. By the definition that a selfish job is one that does not provide a damage increasing rate buff, a large amount of jobs you wouldn't expect are technically selfish. It's just that we don't really talk about tanks being selfish because there aren't any that are not. And we don't really talk about healers being selfish because that's that's kind of missing the point of healers to focus on that. But a job being selfish generally means that it relies on its own damage output to provide for the team, and basically it means that there's a bigger importance in you doing your rotation correctly, you could say, because your value is in making just damage numbers. And if there are other people in the raid producing raid buffs, then your utility is that you're going to personally do slightly more damage if you're playing perfectly, which means that you will make their damage buff better by doing more with it. Samurai, I have in the past referred to as the anime protagonist job. There are other like it because selfish jobs, like Black Mage as well, but the idea is that if you have a whole bunch of raid buff providing jobs, landing, like if you have anything that goes on one person, putting it on the selfish DPS is usually a good call, because they're going to do the most with it. That's the one that ends at partners. That's the one that the Astrologian gives cards to if it matches the role. Like, things like that. But it's not a bad thing to be a selfish job. You just have to understand what you can do and what you can't do. Also, hey, hope you're doing well. But it is really funny because it does mean that you can look at a job that provides a whole bunch of defensive options and say it's selfish. It's actually a really funny thing because in my my job comparison series for each role, a lot of people, when they saw that I would rank a job that is a selfish DPS like Machinist, rank its raid support, quote unquote, which was defined in the video as raid buff damage, I would rank it 0 stars on raid support, but then I'd give it a higher rank on defensives. They would be like, but it has raid support, hello? What? Don't you know it has tactician and dismantle? And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that's in the defensive ranking. It doesn't get to count that one twice. It does damage, and then it provides damage. Well, it doesn't, and then it has defensive cooldowns separately. And that's also the funny thing, is that raid buffs also usually means just damage buffs. Everything else is mitigation or defensive cooldowns. Also, hey Bunny, hope you're doing well. It is confusing, Bunny, but the problem is, at some point, the player base decided to call it selfish. What you will, if you try to use a different term, you know what's going to happen? You're going to confuse the new players even more. The best you can do is, if you run into a context where it matters, like now, is explain it to the player so they know what it means. Because we've already decided as a community that it's selfish. And then you just have to work around that. Calling it something else is just going to, like, confuse people, because then they're going to go, well, you said that job is, I don't know, not supporting. And that job I've heard is selfish. So which one is it? It's probably a term made by meta makers, probably Raging Bull. Emily says it's like how NA servers call strats brain dead. These days, on the internet, everything is brain dead. I've talked about that before. It's just because it's the most like, it's the ultimate example of something being easy or simple. It's so easy that you don't even need a brain. Molt says, would you say Viper's too simple? No. Nope. And yeah, exactly, Raging Bull. Exactly. White Mage, hey go, hope you're doing well. We've had like 2 duties. I got a little bit caught in an MSQ roulette, and a Guildhest. I will queue when it says 25. Hey Joshua, hope you're doing well. Hey Xavier's, hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, it's like cheese, brain dead, whatever. It's just like the new thing to call things. But the big problem is that if there's anything that's misleading, that would almost be it. I feel like a lot of people call things brain dead that shouldn't be called brain dead. I'll say Freezy, hope you're doing well. Oh boy, level 60. And yeah, less raid buffs would probably make the raid buffs we have more significant. It's so bright, you can see it in the camera. Silent Raid says you stream at this time usually. This is exactly the usual time I stream. I have a schedule on the channel you can see. I'll say, hey, Hammond Sickled, hope you're doing well. I think I missed you earlier. Thank you, Erdil. That is true. The schedule is also posted in the Discord server and on X and on Blue Sky. Hey, Lana and Humble Student. Hope you're doing well. They usually stream about 3 days a week. And we usually start around this time. Yeah. Hey, False Geek. Hope you're doing well. And Mr. Bright. Man, that's a long mechanic. I hope it was good for you, Rose Garden, because it didn't do anything for us. I don't think. Wow. Well. And that is true, Raging Bull. More P12S. I should have done it on myself first. That was not the smartest move. What's the dye you've got on your glam? That is neon pink. If you choose the next class to get reworked, which would you choose? I don't know. I feel like that is also a pretty dangerous question to ask. Do you imagine? I feel like a lot of the, like, it doesn't matter what job it is. Whoever mains the job would want to strangle me for suggesting that their job should be next. A lot of people are not happy with whatever job reworks they've gotten. Machinist safe pick. Is it though? Are you sure? I checked earlier today, Talima. There are more passes of Machinist in the current raid tier than Red Mage and Summoner. Are you sure? You might think that it's safe because quote-unquote no one plays it, but then no one's playing Red Mage. And I know that's not true. I should have held my stun. But just to be clear, I don't know if any of the jobs need a rework. They might need something. But it's very easy for the person who's not playing the job to say they need something. Whereas the ones that are actually playing it will probably be like, no, don't touch it. Especially given that the current opinion on a lot of the reworks is that they are not very much appreciated by the people that mained them in the first place. And if that's the case, then it's probably not a... Can I actually hit all of them here? It, 2 of them. Hey Jamie, hope you're doing well. Could be, Jamie. Based on what we've been told, we've been sort of told that the next expansion, they will try and focus on job design, which can mean anything. It can straight up mean anything. But we can, like, if we assume the best of intentions for a moment here, just for a second, imagine that everything will be alright. Then they're gearing every job up for a rework next expansion, pretty much. With some more than others. Also, hey, hope you're doing well. And yeah, that's also sort of what happens sometimes, is that people get, like, they really don't like the rework because it took away the thing they either knew they liked or thought they liked, and then when it's gone, they learn that there are other things they also like. Now, False Geek, I did say assume the best. So you have to assume the best. But there will probably be a new job or 2 in the next expansion also. It's a huge ask to assume on the internet. Yeah, it is. Imagine, like, if we're going to go, like, crazy with the speculation, imagine if next expansion they just decide to squish everything and, like, make a whole, like they give you the option to jump to the more recent story, and by squishing everything they can make it so that, like, they can just rework the rotation to be nice from level 1 to 50, and then level 50 is the new max again. Hey, Yannick and Eric. Hope you're doing well. Holy spam, my beloved. Complex healer rotation. I mean, a lot can be said about this whole review, like this whole thing with the mobile Final Fantasy XIV and all that. But one thing's for certain that I have seen is that by being able to, like, basically reuse all the things that they've learned, like, all the things they've learned that they want the jobs to be, allows them to make much more compact and compact job designs that have the things they should have at earlier levels. And then make sure that it makes sense when you hit level 50. They can remove the things that are not needed and then work from there. I'm not expecting them to do that, but it's certainly, like, it's certainly showing what could be done. Like, a way to do things differently. Hey, Midichlorian and Fox, hope you're doing well. I don't know if what we've seen of the mobile version of the game is what people that are playing the PC version would want. But it is like, there is something to be said the fact that they make sure that the jobs have the things they should have earlier. And that is the problem. I've covered this problem before in my videos. That if you actually moved the toolkits down so that you had the things that like you'd want a job to have, like their base toolkit that they should grow into. If they should have that at level 50, a lot of jobs would be extremely barren from level 50 to 100. And I'm just saying, we have one job that kinda works like this. Summoner basically has the bones of its rotation at like level 26. Like then they add more stuff, but the base rotation is already there. And a lot of people complain that the experience of playing Summoner and leveling it is really boring because nothing changes. So like, I'm just saying that's not everyone. But we do have a test case. Oh, warrior. It looks like we're having one of those days where we get all the supports again. Exactly, folks. If you, like, a lot of the time, some of the loudest parts of the player base will ask for something, and when they're finally given it, they'll be like, no, not like that. Like, do it, but in a cool way. Do what I asked, but do it in a cool way where it's awesome. I'll queue when it says 25. And yeah, that too, Bunny. If they give you too many things too early, they'd have to rebalance some things. And hey, Darkrin, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day too. And yeah, that's the thing, Gazel. That's also something that I've noticed. I keep saying that I basically, when I'm doing my dailies, I play Black Mage the whole way. It doesn't matter what level I land on. Yeah, there are some levels where it's really boring because you don't have anything, or it's really awkward because you're missing a specific thing. But it's a lot better, at least in some capacity, than Summoner, where roughly level 26 plus, it's the same rotation. It's just more or less awkward to do it, whether you do or don't have Dreadworm Trance. That's pretty much it. Which is like, I would rather have that the rotation is kinda awkward, but it's different at each level. Then it's the same thing, it's just whether you do more or less damage, or whether it's easier or harder to do. Like, there I prefer Black Mage. I'll say, Judgment Dragon, hope you're doing well. I just look forward to the guaranteed Heavensward jobs getting reworked. You know, that's a good point. Machinist, Astrologian, and Dark Knight. Well, Dark Knight hasn't been reworked too much. But Astrologian and Machinist have gone through a lot. I'll say, Imani, hope you're doing well. Stop adding new skills to jobs from this point on, just focus on new jobs. I would say there's no need to keep adding new actions to jobs. I would say that already at like Shadowbringers or so, they should have probably like Shadowbringers, they pretty much had enough, and like by Endwalker they should have possibly started with like looking instead at giving maybe passives that like adjust things a bit, but there's no need to give everyone a new button again. Like, some jobs were probably fine at Stormblood, right? Like, I would almost say you can almost determine it by looking at a job and saying how many times has the new highest level action been a finisher. Count how many times, and then -1. That's the amount of expansions worth of tools they might have gotten too many. Like, for instance, Red Mage has a triple finisher, and technically in Dawntrail they got another one. Oh, it's regular Titan. Titan normal, guys. Woohoo! Wow. I will say though, Mani, that the reason why there's new jobs in every expansion is because that sells. Like, there's a reason why they're doing both. They can't leave the old jobs behind because that's not super cool, but they also want to add new stuff because that's one of the easiest ways to sell new content. Some people will come back to the game specifically for Pictomancer or Viper or Reaper or Gunbreaker or, I don't know, Green Mage or something. Who knows? Maybe they'll add it this time. That's why I think my take is a hot one. You know what? That's a fair point. That, you know, yeah. Yep. Yep. Indeed. I feel like there is a middle ground where it does make sense. Guys, will I get a third Berserk? What will happen first? Titan dying? Me getting to use Berserk? I hope your cards were on Titan dying first. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. I feel like that would also be a good idea, Gazel. I would say as long as jobs are having trouble with not being different enough, they shouldn't be adding more jobs. They should make the existing ones stand out. We'll reach a state where we run out of new jobs. I mean, there might be a point where they determine that they can't maintain all the jobs. But I don't feel like there's a possibility that they'll run out of ideas. Like, it's pretty easy to come up with a concept. Pixamancer. Woo! Are you ready for Guildhest? It's gonna be a Guildhest. I'm gonna queue when it says 40. Good luck, Taldemar. Yeah, that's probably a Guildhest. Is it true that Pixel's better off not using ham at all now? It's complicated, Darkren, but there is something about, like, super optimization, but it is complicated. There's more to it than that. But there is a level of optimization where you're using hammer not very much. But it's not as clear-cut as never use it. That is exactly the kind of brain-dead optimization leads to. That people say, now it's brain-dead, you just do this. And then people take it for granted that that's how it works, without looking deeper into it. And yep, Redmaster, it is a Guildhest. Yeah. I think the Gunbreaker's learning today that the poison clouds are actually painful. Thank you, Busy. Hope you're doing well. How am I not surprised? We will never get picked to Mansa and Mental Roulette this way and actually get something with a rotation. It's not my fault. Hey Zerov, hope you're doing well. Ninja, are you ready for another Guildhest? The Guildhests have come back in force, is what I've noticed. I'll queue when it says 40. And... Yoink. Oh, it's not instant. Almost. You're almost there, folks. Good luck. Demonology Warlock. Yeah. That could be cool. I would say anything but Destruction Warlock is like a specialization. That, oh. Wow. Guys, it wasn't a Guildhest this time. A pretty big jump. And there's 3 ninjas. We have all of the... Oh, wait. We have... basically all of the ninjas in the queue that are not specific queuing. And this is a weird Guildhest. Why is the music so epic?
Ends this day. There is nowhere you can flee that we cannot follow.
Even stars must die.
Uh-oh. Ugh. Hey Alex and Dinky, hope you're doing well. And Asymmetricon. Yeah.
Utterly futile.
She's gonna barf.
Your suffering is at an end. This is a kindness. All of us have known despair.
This pair? All of us have known this pair. I hope it was delicious then.
We have seen the end.
Uh-oh, I'm just gonna get hit. I'll just take it, I guess.
The same end. Again and again.
I have seen your question, Phil. I have a feeling that I'll have forgotten by the time the duty's over. What does proactive healing mean for pure healers? Mainly, it would make sense to talk about proactive healing as a pure healer in the context of making sure that everyone is already topped. There's not really much else you can do than that, as far as I know. And that's true, Gazel. You can start casting an action so that as the attack that the enemy is doing lands, you heal like a frame before, like a frame after. That is a sort of like proactive healing, I guess.
A sorrow so deep only emptiness remains. Tis so lonely
Oh.
between the stars.
Okay, I didn't want to finish my burst, it's fine. Uh-oh. Did you see that? Yeah, we needed those. One of the tanks just wrote in the chat, what, huh? We can fall? What? Yes, actually. I'd prefer if you don't do that again.
We have seen the end.
They just went, I'ma head out. I'ma dip real quick. Yeah, I keep miscounting it, like misreading it. I should just lean over to the other side, but I'd rather survive. Is never knockback in normal? Correct. But the exact position of the planets, as I understand, is less predictable on normal.
Again and again.
Hey, some random person. Hope you're doing well.
There is no happiness in life. There is only one place it may be found.
If I recall correctly, there's something about you being able to safely use LB3 in this intermission. But I'm not going to be the one doing it if it is. Because it always makes people lose their mind. Yeah, the summoner did it. Good for them. No one said a thing. Hey, Shamsiel. And eat it. Hope you do it well.
Oblivion.
Let's hope a tank will do it. And... Hey, Erica. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, they are both Sprouts, so they're probably first-timers. Hey, Jack. And Betelgeuse. Hope you're both doing well. And thank you, Jack. They were in the cutscene. Also that. They did watch the cutscene. And hey, Anne-Marie. Hope you're doing well as well.
This day, there is nowhere you can flee that we cannot follow.
Even stars must die.
Do you have the tank LB in the intermission? You do. You do. The tank LB makes the attack go from actually one shot to just doing a ton of damage. Like, as far as I know, imagine that it is coded as, like, one of the effects of the attack is if has tank LB, then instead do a lot of damage. I believe it actually does like 90% of your HP and damage or something like that. So I have seen tanks die anyway, even with tank LB. Just because they weren't topped up.
Suffering is at an end. This is a kindness. All of us have known despair.
All of us. All of us. Dink, dink, dink. What? What happened? Right. That. Persistence is key. Nice. Hey, Naxtara. Hope you're doing well.
Again and again.
Like an airplane. A really strange sounding airplane. Boink.
A sorrow so deep only emptiness remains. Tis so lonely between us.
Right, of course. That was the point. That's true. That was the moment where she denied me last time too. That's true. Yep. That's true, Nosrel. That is true. Just means that I'm consistent. There are some cooldowns that have drifted a little bit in this particular pull, I can see. But,
If there is no
close enough, right?
happiness in life,
Oh, right. Should just not have used Trick Attack.
there is only one
Shoulda known.
place it may be found.
Shoulda known. Oh, we don't even have LB3. Yeah, I feel like the big problem with tank LB especially is that if you use tank LB when it's not needed, people get mad.
Oblivion.
But if you don't use it when it is needed, people also get mad. So it feels a little bit like, what do you do then, right? We did it! Did you see that? Even with the tank LB, it's like, yeah, you survive by like the skin of your teeth. Oh right, you can attack a bit. I completely forgot.
You only delay the inevitable. This is fate.
I'm just gonna set up to do big damage. I should really just burst, but I wanna do it this way. It's fine. I'm not sure on the timing, but yeah, it does look like it's like 30 seconds. Our summoner is making the joke. Now LB again. Yeah, that's usually what I do, Marnie. If I see a tank that uses tank LB quite frequently, I'll be like, actually, there's usually a time and a place for it. But I don't get mad over it. Oh no, I don't get to click a button and then do nothing for 8 seconds.
What is this defiance? No. The hatred, the pain, the loss. We cannot suffer it again.
Oh, someone else already used Feint. Ninjas, am I right?
No matter the
Using
cost.
their utility. Hey, Nicola, hope you're doing well. I'm playing on Louis Soir Chaos.
Many a time.
Thus do we know.
To never give up.
Never give up.
The hope will shine again.
What we saw. What I saw. This can only end in misery and desolation. No life, no star, nor the universe itself. None should hope for better.
Perfect. I finished on 0 Kazamatoi. Yeah, that is always an awesome one. And that's okay, Nicola. Perfectly fine. But I am on Louis Soir Chaos on EU. Pretty much always. Sometimes I'll be over on Ravana Materia and OCE, but usually I'm here. Oh. Yannick says, I was thinking, would it be healthy for the game if they introduced an opt-in toggle to do a tank or healer instead of tank plus healer required roulettes? As in, that duties just had a tank and 3 DPS or a healer and 3 DPS? No, I don't think that's a good idea, because I think a lot of like, I think you're heavily overestimating how many players would be capable of doing that. Hey, see, Nicola. I hope you're enjoying the story. And thank you, Ardell. But yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea, Yannick. And the thing is, if you have a full pre-made, you can just do that. Yannick says that's why I opt in. Let me spin your tail real quick, Yannick. Do you know why there's a lot of people that queue like this? With all 4 languages toggled, even though they only speak one of them? Because it makes queue shorter. You know what this opt-in would do? Do I need to elaborate what would happen? Or do you already know where I'm going with this? The It would make the queue shorter, so people that have no business queuing that way will do it because it made the queue shorter. And then surprise Pikachu phase when the duty's hard. Because, like, not everyone was actually good. Like, it might work. But when it doesn't, it's just straight up failure. So I don't think it's a good idea. I would say it's good enough that you can do it as you please when you have a full pre-made. Also, hey Cat, hope you're doing well. "75% of player base wouldn't be able to do the Tower Deepcroft hard with 3 DPS. That sounds about right. I would also imagine some tanks wouldn't be able to, you know, tank it without a healer if they didn't bring potions. And they probably aren't. Hey Rob Gero, hope you're doing well. That's been a bit. I have not cleared over yet. We took a little bit of a break to do the new raid tier. We're going Summoner. Summoner time. Eh. Yeah, it'll work. I will queue when it says 25. It's pretty wild, Zarf. It's pretty funny sometimes when I have a set where it's like, 2 or 3 times some rando that hasn't like that seems to be queuing separately keeps showing up. I'm glad to hear that, Nicole. I'm glad it helped you. Thank you. Pretty much, Mommy. The thing is, sometimes people will toggle settings like that to their own detriment if it makes game go faster, even if it's not going to work. And then, like, that's the problem, is that even if an opt-in setting like that could work for those that know how it works, there'll be a lot of people opting in, hoping everyone else will carry them. Remember, the healer and the tank, or healer or tank, will be the ones working extra hard to make it work most of the time. The DPS, of course, also matters because they need to kill things fast enough for it to work. But if the healer's bad or the tank is bad, it's just not happening. Melissa says that's part of why I think they need a new tank class in the next expansion to encourage more people to play tank. Here's a funny story. I came back to Final Fantasy XIV, like, shortly before Shadowbringers released. Like, I came back after a break. And I wanted to pick up Gunbreaker, but the queue times for duties as tank, not even Gunbreaker, just tank in general, were so obnoxiously long that I gave up. And I even opted to go at the MSQ to start as healer a bit. I ended up switching to Dark Knight because I was a little bit behind, and the reason why I switched to Dark Knight anyway was because I was so far behind that by the time I'd like gotten to the first dungeon or so in the Shadowbringers MSQ, the Gunbreaker hype had died down. The way that I have usually explained it is that a lot of people picked up Gunbreaker because Gunbreaker is cool, and then after a while, it started to dawn on these players that, wait, to play the cool Gunblade class, I have to tank. Well, I don't want to do that. And then they just dropped the job like an old toy. Just don't want to play with you anymore. Because the queue times just flipped almost like that overnight, as I experienced it. So basically, what I'm getting at is adding a new tank job to make people excited to tank doesn't work. Like, that's not enough. And you might then say, so what is enough? Nothing! Straight up nothing! Many MMOs have a problem with healers and tanks never being in great enough supply because most people want, like, more people want to DPS. That's straight up just how it works. There's nothing you can do. Because, like, the only thing you could do would be, like, make light parties 4 DPS, 1 tank and a healer, and that would help a bit. But only for a while. Turns out that a lot of people just like to DPS, and it's not a Final Fantasy XIV exclusive problem. So, like, even if you added another tank, it would momentarily help, and then, like, the numbers would go back to where it was. I don't have a solution. I'm just saying anything that I've seen tried doesn't work. Rumble says that one of it isn't more people want to DPS, but that the expectations for tanks and healers feel higher, so people are afraid to try. That probably also matters, because part of the reason why a lot of people want to play DPS is because of the perceived lower expectations. You can fall in with the tapestry as a DPS. If you're in a dungeon group and the tank is pulling weird, you notice it like that. You're in a dungeon group and the healer's not attacking enough, you notice it like that. The only way you really notice if the DPS isn't doing things right is if they're playing incredibly badly, like insanely badly, or if they're doing obvious mistakes. Single target dot on anyone? Like, those kind of things. Exactly, Cass. It's a problem in not even just MMOs, in, like, hero shooters. It's a problem to convince the people to play support, because most people want to be DPS. They want to be the anime protagonist. They don't want to be the medic in the background. And yeah, so basically, support roles tend to not be as popular, and there's not much you can do about it, because by design, that's going to be how it is. I suppose one way you could maybe change that is imagine if they made tanks and healers insanely broken strong. But then at that point, why do we have DPS? Right? Like, imagine if tanks and healers were also crazy strong on damage output. But then at that point, why do we have DPS? Tony says, how do you pronounce the name of your world? Louis Soir. Yannick says, so the recent boom in healer main protagonist animes is Japanese people trying to reverse the DPS main protagonist thing. I don't think so. I don't think so, but it would be funny if that did something, right? I'll say, Gavin, hope you're doing well. And everyone else who came in. But yet, it's a really difficult one. But most of the things we've seen tried to make tanks and healers more lucrative are things that tend to momentarily work, but it doesn't really work, because then, like, it basically makes the role interesting, because it's like it's covered by a new car smell, right? That's what Gunbreaker had. That new car smell. Then when that faded away, people were like, wait a minute, this is a tank! Ugh. And then left. I'm pretty sure Sage had that too. Oh man, a new job. Oh, new car, nice. It's not smelling like new car anymore. Ugh, that's a healer. Ugh. Don't wanna play that. Leroy Jenkins was a tank. Wasn't Leroy Jenkins a Retribution Paladin? Wasn't he a DPS Paladin? In Vanilla WoW? I'm pretty sure he was a DPS. That's why it was a problem that he just ran in. He wasn't the tank. Yeah, the thing is, folks, back in actual vanilla, paladins were quite something. They, like, DPS wasn't really something they could do very well. People have found ways to make it work nowadays, right? Tanking was difficult. They are good if you use them just right. But for the most part, paladins are healers. So it's very likely that Leroy Jenkins was either, you know, it wasn't a raid. They were doing a 10-man dungeon. Yes, really. A 5-man dungeon, but could bring 10, no problem. And he had a 2-handed weapon, so he was probably a DPS. But at that skill level, that's fine. I believe it was also set up like that. It was like it's a legendary, but I'm pretty sure that it might have been set up. It doesn't really matter if it was, but if it was, that would explain why he was a DPS, because Paladin DPS was a meme back then. Exactly. It also makes sense that it was scripted because the number crunching they were talking about made no sense. Also, true, Monka. It's very likely that there would be a Paladin DPS because they didn't know. Ross says it was scripted, so an interview. I recall many years ago that the story went that they wouldn't outright say that it was scripted, but it was known that it was scripted. But it makes sense that they've just said, yeah, it was scripted. Doesn't as I said, it doesn't matter to me. It's funny. It's amazingly funny. Like, oh man, the thing that basically looks like it's scripted was actually scripted? Ah, man. What will I do with my life? I can't believe in anything anymore because Leroy Jenkins was made up. Well, the joke video with Leroy Jenkins is made up. Fox says, I remember reading an analysis of the original Leroy video, and the actual joke for WoW players was that the party's original plan was doomed to fail because they didn't know gameplay mechanics. Now that's good. Yeah, it sounds about right. Guy running to the boss after 2 hours of preparing everything and optimizing the fight and being the opposite. Caetsu Chaiji! And then I wiped the first mechanic because I prepared everything. Analyzed everything, we discussed everything, but we forgot to discuss positioning for the first mechanic. Now, that is my raid team in a nutshell. Right, the first mechanic. Indeed. Indeed. Oh! Can it wait for my ley lines? Of course. Under the armor, everyone. May I present? It's gamer time. It's time for Under the Armor. Are you ready to check out this amazing damage? Check out these auto attacks. There's no point in summoning Ruby. It won't even hit. There you go. Was that 10 minutes for that? Quite a jump. Womp womp. Yeah, we were talking a little bit back and forth about also a little bit about WoW KKB, but they're similar games. It's close enough. Monk time. Can explain the rotation slowly? Yeah, well, you see, first I used Ruin. And then, when I was in combat, I used Ether Charge and Energy Drain, and as the GCD was spinning, I ran over to the boss that I could use auto attacks, and then I used Ruin 5 times, and for the 6th time, I Swift casted so that I could sneak it in while Ether Charge was still active. But then, instead of using Ruby, because it takes like 30 million years before Ruby Kabi actually attacks, I just sent another Ruin, and then the boss died. Really difficult. Really, really difficult stuff. I'm gonna queue when it says 20. Wait, that's too fast. The particularly legendary case of us doing the die to the first mechanic was that when we did M1S for the first time, we spent a lot of time like putting together the raid team, discussing mechanics, talking how we were gonna do it and everything, and like a lot of strat. Then we pulled the boss, and as the boss wound up to do the quad crossing, whatever it's called, I looked at the cast bar and thought, I don't think we talked about this, and then we died. And correct, we hadn't actually talked about... Like, we talked about basically everything else but quad crossing. Uber Penguin says, how do you keep all the raid abbreviations straight in your head? Well, if you talk about it enough times, you'll eventually remember that. Like, you'll just remember that the abbreviation matches the particular name. Hey, Shaq. Hope you're doing well. And we've done the same with most bosses. On Honeybee Lovely, M2S, I believe we died to Beeline right at the start. On Brute Bomber, I believe we had a wipe to the to him doing the spit and saying die. Then we actually died. And for M4S, I'm pretty sure we had wipes to the lines from the side of the arena near the start. Like, we basically died to the closest to the first mechanic pretty consistently. At least once. Right, says I can't get over Leroy Jenkins is not only scripted but not even a tank. I feel like I do when I was told Santa isn't real. Yeah, I know, right? Jose Nimaneko, hope you're doing well. I stream 3 times a week. There's a schedule that I post once a week on the channel. There's also one in the Discord server that is like always the newest one. And if you go to X or Blue Sky, I also have a like I have the newest schedule pinned. Thank you, Erdl. But yeah, I stream about 3 times a week. Oh boy. Let's try spinning. That's a neat trick. Such rotation. This jam! Kill him! Whew. We just barely made it before something happened. Whew. That was close. Yeah, I'm telling you. Guildhests are back. Shaq says we've not died to any first mechanic this tier, if I recall correctly. I think we've at least basically wiped to Moose Mural at least once. LQ when it says 55. How's AGL? Hope you're doing well. That could be, but I don't feel like it's always this many on Tuesdays. And the funniest thing, Emily, is we're not even doing it blind. The reason why we've wiped Muse Mural is partly because we have a specific strategy where we don't use much mitigation for it. So if a barrier isn't applied, then we just die. It's for LB generation. But you make a good point, Jack. We've gotten better at it. We've gotten better. And yeah, we do need to get the LB generation. We have specific mechanics where we're deliberately not using a certain mitigation. Because that's the only way we can make sure that we have LB2 in time for the ad phase. Folks, is that one time we wiped the Azure Thunder just before sunrise because we were all too sleepy and all of us forgot to mitigate to mid? That's a funny one when you're so focused on the thing coming that the raid wipe that introduces it just kills you. Just whoop. Consistency of having LB2 for ads is a pain. I hadn't thought about just trying to squeeze more. Yeah, we're like have several points where where some of us, at least me included, will be like holding my hand over Addle, looking at my HP bar like, do I need to, or will I be healed in time? And usually I get healed in time, so I'll just be like, it's probably fine. Because if I addle it, then we're not getting LB generation. If I don't addle it, then we might get LB generation. And as you're approaching like the ad phase, you get closer and closer, and you have to like try and like eyeball. Are we close enough? And especially for me, because I'm the one using the LB. Cat says, will I get healed on time? I don't have this issue. You don't? How's that possible? Aaron says, do you even need the LB for ads? I don't think we need it, but it's certainly easier if we have it. Cat says, nothing I can do, is it? Good point. The one thing you can do is use Magic Barrier or Addle and hope it'll mean you don't die. Or be the healer. Well, Cat is a red mage. The main reason why we make that stretch to get the LB2 is because it's not that bad. Parents says critical healing is what counts for LB gen, not regular healing. I think there's been a misunderstanding here. I was talking about there's a raid wide incoming. I don't have enough HP to live it. Will I receive healing in time? Of course it's an alliance raid.
No true abundance.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't realize it was to your question, Ozarel. My bad, Perrin.
Feel you the heartbeat of the land. Nourish soil.
Reaper against Reaper. Oh yeah. I was also expecting Crystal Tower, but it could also have been Void Ark or something. Did they nerf Eurovision so hard that people leave it now? I think it's just people that wanted it for the like daily tomes or something that feel like it's too long. That's my best guess.
Let life flower and flourish.
But I don't know. I don't know who would leave an Endwalker Alliance raid. Whee!
Mine is the breath.
Hey, most time. Hope you're doing well. I am on Chaos.
My heart rejoices for our union.
That was a pretty good Dublin Shroud. It's a little hard to see that
Good
one.
children,
Oh,
be strong for what awaits.
yeah, there's no reason to leave over that, Anne-Marie. There's no reason to do that.
By my authority, let the land be remade.
There's someone. The someone in our party knows me. I should have used Wall of Death first. Oh well, too late for that. Or is it? Or is it? Arrow. Hey Fern, hope you're doing well. And Shira and Wheat. I love this boss, I don't know why. No! I mean, she looks nice. The awkward part is when you use Gluttony and then remember Death's Design. Because then you're like, oh yeah, but I kind of have to finish this combo. The speed at which the mobs die is kind of why I'm not really feeling the Arcane Circle. But I'm also not really feeling wasting all of my gauge here. We'll use a little bit of something. Fantastic. Well, we all ran away. Hey, Gleaming. Hope you're doing well. You were a glutton for damage. I needed the damage now.
Forgive me, but I couldn't stay away.
It seems my sister shall be joining us.
Boink.
It is only fitting that we face you together.
Tis only fitting. I believe the final quest bit of I think there's some part where they explain that, Nosferatu. And I'm pretty sure there is something about that for these two, but it could have been something, you know, explained by changed by worship, as you mentioned. But I'm pretty sure that was something that was addressed. Eric says yes.
I shall measure your...
You can meet them in Elpis, says Rydian. Well, there you go. Ask them.
Surrender to my power.
Oh boy. Stand in the goop. Oh, that happens. For some reason I expected it to throw you higher. Slap. And another one.
Long have I awaited.
Oh. Okay. Right. They do have a finite HP bar. That's something worth remembering. What will happen first? Our cards resolving or her dying?
This too is fate.
Upon the most exalted of battlefields you shall stand.
Some random person says dialogue at the end of the Endwalker Alliance raid quests even changed a bit when you did the Elpis quests. Oh, well, that's good to know. I had done all the Elpis quests before it was possible to finish the Alliance raids. This pull is always fun. Oh.
Summon your courage and press on.
Hey, Squishy. Hope you're doing well. Now I'll just have to look evil all the way over to the next boss fight. And it's going to run out before I get to throw it. So I'll just look evil. And now I'm cute again. It's fine.
The fury shall test
I'll survive.
spirit.
We're back to pink.
All piercing spear drink deep of raging blizzards. For glory, you must be prepared to render your all.
Can you meet Heloni in Elpis? Any knowers? Oh boy. Oh boy. Bleh. I kind of used that arcane circle in the exactly wrong time if I wanted to do what I wanted to do. But oh well. Oh well, oh well, oh well. Maybe it'll work. It kind of worked. It's fine. Don't get most of what I wanted, but I do get to chain my shrouds. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, Red Mail. Hope you're doing well. I mean, it would be funny, but I'd rather not want to figure it out. Just on the off chance the answer's no. Oh, we finished first. Fantastic.
In ice unyielding, now rest. Mine is the easiest.
Swing, swung, swung, swung. And there's a big sword.
Would that our clash could continue forever.
Did our tank just do the disconnect dodge? Looked like, for a moment for me, it looked like they disappeared as they were about to get hit by something.
There is no or defeat.
Oh man, that was amazing eyeballing of the mechanic for me.
Lose yourself in the joy.
Just exactly right so I didn't get hit. Uh-oh. Ow.
Well fought, mortals. Your next test awaits.
Unplug your Ethernet to Dawntrail, right? Yeah, exactly. With instance, I wonder how Estanian would react if you told him you fought with Haloni and won. By the way, Estanian. Oh yeah, she doesn't exist. She's gone now. By the way, you don't get to have a turn. Nope. No. I fought and beat her, and yeah. Then she left. Yep. It's quite something. You should have been there. But I didn't invite you, so, you know. Shame. Big shame. Been cool if you'd been there, but, well. Then Otto says, very difficult to proc this on Dynamis. Could you not visit one of the other data centers to try and proc it there? Yeah, Yannick, I also brought 23 friends with me. But not you, Estinian. I brought 23 friends with me. Yeah, that's cold. Man. And also that, Seraph. I even brought other Scions, but not you, Estinian. You were busy, probably. I didn't check. I didn't care. But I also didn't check. What can you do?
Behold my power!
Behold!
Lest you want, 'tis naught I cannot handle.
Oh, good for you! I left you alone, but I didn't leave any Haloni. Uh-oh.
Prepare yourself.
She do be stomping.
Oh, ring of ice, have mercy upon them.
I should have saved some gauge for gluttony there. Oh well. It's Hatsune Miku. Well, she kind of has the hair and the hair color too, right? She's kind of there. I have a feeling she's gonna poof away in the middle. Yep. I just remembered that there are other targets. But I'm still mad. Ah! Boom! A boom! She's missing the assault rifle. Bork? Look, guys!
Delight in the simple things.
It's the big Bork! It's the popper! He go woof! He go Dalamood! Dalamood, Dalamood!
Go on, play.
This is also one of the most confusing mechanics when you initially see it, because you see like a large portion of the boss jump away, but the targeting reticle stays. Where's this as a mount? I don't think it is. Ow.
You're always in my heart, my love.
Oh, she's dying. Whoops. A bit ago, I was looking at the limit break gauge and was like, oh, yeah, not yet. Nope. And now she suddenly died. Nail calling Dalamood actually just a dog walker trying to call back a pup. Mr. That's a good one. Mr. Bryce says, my prayers take long enough to be answered. I don't need it to be answered with, please hold. Imagine that. Finally, our prayers are answered. The word from God. Please, God is currently absent. Please leave a message after the beep. Your prayers are important to us and will be answered soon. And the beep is just a dog bark. Arf. We continue our quest. As Astrologian. I will queue when it says 45. Oh, there's a lot of people in my garden. My house! And... Imagine if it's a Guildhest again. Brave Flux long stop. You know what? That's not too bad. Stupid Genius says, if you were to mentor Roulette as Ice Mage, how long before someone called you out on it? I don't know, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. For a second, I thought that it was going to be full single target, but it did seem that they're doing something at least. Here's an awkward part as a Dark Knight for this particular dungeon. Oh, they are doing a little bit with a single target opening. Here's a fun fact with this little bit. The Raincatcher applies a silence, which is kinda awkward, but only for a Dark Knight. Awkward when you have double range physical as an Astrologian. Oh, 25, 26 damage with the card swipes. I'll use my ultimate card, my credit card. Shink. Shink. Yeah, exactly, Nosrel. What's really weird is that that mob so uniquely has that, and it's the only one of its kind in the entire dungeon. Just randomly there's that. I should be giving the bigger cards to the machinist, come to think of it. They are doing more damage. They also have better gear from the looks of it. Or maybe they just have a really, really fat food buff. But they do more damage. Oink. Exactly. Either way, they are technically doing more damage, so... Is that in major reworks? The final boss has been completely overhauled, Nosrel. Completely. So yeah, it technically has. There's also some bits in the portion after this boss that has been adjusted a bit, I believe. Ah. Oh, whoops. Took too long to get around to playing the card. I believe so, Red Mail. Machine is a little awkward because they got a massive potency nerf somewhat recently. recent with the adjustments. They were an Endwalker, I believe. I'm pretty sure they were an Endwalker. And to be fair, Gleaming, the old version wasn't that exciting. It was like basically the way the fight used to work is that the dragon would, I believe it would randomly do like no warning tank busters on the tank every so often. But then it would also every so often randomly shoot a spread AoE on a random player. That player could be the tank, but whoever did put it on would leave like a pool of poison under it. And it did damage to players that stayed in it, of course. But more importantly, if the dragon was in the poison pool, it would regen HP. It wasn't that bad. Like, you could fight through it, but I believe the healing stacked if it stood, like, in multiple overlapped circles. So it could actually become a problem if you completely ignored it. Interestingly, I also learned back then that if you did squadron missions of Brave Frog's Longstop, for some reason, it would never target the squadron NPCs with that poison thing. Ever. It would always target the player. But that, like, basically, I would say the current version of that dragon fight is more exciting than the original. Not by much, but the original wasn't very much to write home about anyway. Ah. Yeah, the new Halatali is also pretty good. There are some cases where I'm like, not necessarily an upgrade, but then there's also cases where it's like, well, they added something where there wasn't really anything. Like the first boss in Halatali, I think. Yeah, the first boss in Halatali, what? Like, it didn't do anything, did it? Basically, the old version of the Fire Sprite, it was kind of like a quote-unquote DPS race, because if you didn't kill it fast enough, you'd start like, either would have to actually address the ads flying into the bonfire, or you had to kill the boss before it, like, the explosions killed you. And that's basically your options. But that basically it was never so bad that you actually had to make a choice. The new version, it does the Cardinal Intercardinal Cone AoEs. I think it also has a Tank Buster, which I think is an improvement. That is concerning, Melisia. That is concerning. Then that sounds about right, folks. I think the first time the game actually, like, tries to get your attention towards the limit break is in the Ultima Weapon fight. When they're just like, you have LB3 now, click it! And I'm pretty sure it actually pops up with one of those like text blurbs explaining to you what it is, or something like that. I'm not sure if it does it in the fight, but it'll explain it to you like after the fight, at the very least. Which is like, thanks? What? Would have been nice if there was some tutorial on this beforehand. The party text tutorial. The party text tutorial. Where loot? I wouldn't be surprised if that tutorial where it's like on page 4 and people just click OK. We already did 10. We thanks to Guildhest, we're somehow ahead. That's exactly why it's important that it is text tutorial, Anne-Marie, because that is something that I tend to give the game a lot of flack for. Is that there are like. There's a lot of things the game does not teach you. I'll cue when it says 40. There are a lot of things the game does not teach you, but there are also a lot of things that the game, quote-unquote, teaches you by throwing basically a notepad at you and going, read this. Oh. Speaking of Titan Extreme, are we getting an Extreme now? The joining a party text tutorial actually explains the 1 to 5% party buff. Huh. Hey Caitlin, hope you're doing well. Oh. Well, it's normal. Wow! This is the second Endwalker trial. That doesn't happen a lot. 2 of them. Usually I get Rubicante, if anything. And that would have been a choice of Extreme. Yeah, that would just not work. I could see... If it said Extreme, I would be shocked if it didn't just immediately say Light Party. Oh, never mind. For a second, I thought the healers didn't realize that they had to fully heal them. Someone snipe? I don't think so. I don't see any names I recognize. At least not immediately. I did see a whole bunch of people disappear just as the queue, like just as the queue popped. That's a random spot. Okay. Oh, right. It's that. Ow. Oh, fantastic. I'll just... Oh, boy. I'm scared now. I'm scared now. Run to the other side. Run away to the other side. Green orbs. It's the green orbs. The green orbs of doom and despair. Oink. Oink. Ah! Oink. I had a feeling someone was going to die there. We should not have double weaved that. Ah. Me over here, spending 1,000,000% of my concentration playing Dragoon, in performance. That sounds about right, Red Mail. But that was also why I said I should not have double weaved there when I double weaved something with Stardiver. So yeah, exactly. Dragonfire Dive is a little bit sketchy, but you should be able to on a really good connection. And I would say I have a really good connection. I am hoping that a tank is gonna provoke soon. Oh no. Yeah, I know, silly. There's not very much I can do about it because my GCD is whack. I'm trying my best, but my GCD is whack. It's 245. I didn't hold shift. We try again. I was so focused on just not on the nail stuff that I forgot to. I needed to hold shift to actually perform chaotic spring. We did it! I don't play Dragoon very much. But I try my best. But both Reaper and Dragoon I have really wacky GCDs. So, big oof there. Yeah, thank you, Aerodel. Not sure how it all works with the algorithm and such, but if you are enjoying the stream, it does help me a lot if you leave a like on it. Whether it's while we're live or after the fact, it should tell the algorithm that this is awesome stuff and you'd like other people to enjoy it as well, so it helps me. So thank you in advance. But we can still do some more. We haven't gone for 3 hours yet, not even close. Or actually, it is getting close, but those Guildhests, man. Is it that Dragoon and Reaper want strict 2.50? I believe Reaper wants like 249 or 248. Dragoon actually would probably prefer a straight 2.5 because they have so many OGCDs they want to use exactly on the dot that any like slow leaning anywhere because of a faster GCD is just no bueno. Like as I said, jump drifted so much like that I had at the very minimum basically lost a whole jump to drifting, and we had 2 Dragoons that could see it happen, and the way I know is that it drifted so much that that jump landed just before Lance charge at one point, and it shouldn't do that. I'll queue when it says 50. Oh, 2-minute replacement. Oh boy. Oh. Why? What? Why? Huh? Yeah, really? What? Yeah, easy tomes. That sounds about right. We take those. What? Okay.
There should be an access hatch nearby that leads inside. Look for an opening.
I'm going to do something really cursed, which is I'm just not going to worry too much about having my 2-minute burst aligned with Wanderer's Minuet, because this is already in ruins, man. It's ruined, man. We reached cursed hour. Me playing jobs that I don't actually normally play that much, and then I play them in a weirdly cursed fashion.
I'm detecting something big. You'll have to deal with it to continue on.
You're pressing your button. That's pretty good. You know, a lot of players should learn to appreciate that a bit more. Well, at least you're pressing your buttons. That's at least something. Oh, I remembered that I had Iron Jaws just in time. Oh yeah, that is something that I have. I should refresh my dot, I guess. That is an option I have. I should use it. Yeah, I shouldn't use my burst here. The boss is going to leave before we can actually do anything with it. And this is exactly why I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna try and make the most of it, because this is going to happen again. Like, this whole part is just cursed. And can you at least come back for this pitch perfect? I'd like to pitch something for you, and it's this. My dots ran out. The curse continues, because I'm not good at Bard. I'm really not good at Bard. At least the black mage is cooking. If they're doing well, then we should be pretty fine. Pew.
Eva keeps
Ah, I should have switched
constructions
song.
very
No.
constant battle against
No, I have to
the
run with no song.
Even during the war,
No!
to maintain the castle.
Bard!
It meant a lot.
Why are you like this? Why you do me like that?
Observations terminal is in this place.
Running in awkward silence. Womp womp. The roulette wheel of which song will be under the 2 minute. You know, the funniest part is that that run of silence almost looked like it could have caused me to skip a song. Ow. I could have used Troubadour there. Why didn't I do that? You know, the most amazing part is that I'm like metering out here, and it looks like if I had opened right at the top of the duty with Army's Paeon, then I might have actually gotten the songs aligned correctly for the rest of the dungeon, but I didn't, and my dots ran out. Ow. Ow. I couldn't quite see if it was one or the other, and I felt like the spread marker also blocked me in a bit. Oh well.
That was hardly a challenge, I see. You will show me more. I bid you press on.
Yeah, pretty much, Nazareth. Whoops. It's just, Bard is just the job that I'll just never get good at. Dragoon is one where, like, I can kind of do it decently well, if I really focus on it. Bard is just like, it's just not happening. It's just not gonna happen. And then we do it in a dungeon. Like maximizing the jank that I'll have to deal with. If you actually want to play Dragoon, play it at 2.5. I know. But that's the kicker. I want to play Black Mage. That's what I want to play. What is? Yeah, what is that? What is that crown? Huh? What? I didn't do anything. YouTube, you good? Yeah, I have no idea. I've never seen that before. Can you click on it? What happens if you click on it? Wait, they disappeared again. Huh? What? Huh? What? Alright.
You are untroubled thus far. But I
I've
have
never seen it
something
before,
that
Second
interests
Eyelid.
you yet.
You know what's even weirder is that it's like randomly showing in the actual stream chat
This machine
and in
has
the
long
overlay.
guarded these
Like they
crumbling
don't
walls.
agree. Stream's haunted, yeah.
How will you handle
That
this?
sounds about right. Accept. Thanks so much for the super chats, mommy. Enjoy work.
Let us introduce more weaponry.
Let's see. AWC, hope you're doing well.
Let us see
He's
what
pulling out the big bad of the dungeon. A door.
perhaps a new approach to assess your adaptability.
Return the slab. How long have I not have a song on? Imagine if you could have a settings that specifically as Bard when your song ends. So you don't have a song going, it just cuts off the BGM. Just... That would be fantastic.
Still alive. How unfortunate.
Oh, maybe it's
For you
something
to
they
die
just
here,
added?
It would save me trouble later.
I think I lost the whole pitch perfect there, looking at mechanics. I baited the sage, did I? What did I do? I ran to a safe spot. Did I not?
I'm beginning to understand how you.
That bard is very confused, but they have their heart in the right place. Possibly. Oh, whoops. Okay, so I get it now. Francis, did you get into Fork Tower yet? Are you hoping for changes to the way to enter? I was never particularly interested in Fork Tower to begin with, Fern. I've never done Baldesian Arsenal. I've never done Delubrum Regine Savage. Let's see, and it says viewers engage with a live stream. They'll notice a crown icon at the top of the chat, which displays the cumulative points they've earned for engaging with that specific live stream. The more viewers engage, for example via live chat messages, super chats, super stickers, or gifts, the higher they may rank on the leaderboard. I'm guessing that it is maybe it's something they're like introducing now. I've never seen it before. Maybe that's why it's suddenly jankily appearing out of nowhere and then disappearing again. Maybe it's supposed to be a little bit like how on Twitch they have this thing where like participating you can get points and then you can do stuff with them. Maybe it's supposed to be a little bit like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, Emily. What do you think? What? And it's back! And it's gone. I have a feeling someone turned something on that they shouldn't have turned on. So people will PvP spend to be bestest viewer. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. You can click on it. What happens if I click on it? Nothing happens if I click on it. Let me try and refresh my studio page. See if something suddenly changes here. I don't know. It's quite randomly choosing between whether it wants to show it or not, and I can only see the crowns. If I click on them, nothing. If I click on them, nothing happens. How strange. And what a perfect time for it to happen while I'm already trying my best to just play Bard. And then like YouTube is like, distraction mode, engage. Ah. Where did it open that, Yardel? Like, how did you open that? By clicking on the crowns. Weird. Let me try something. See, the thing is, yeah, it might be something where I have to like start a new stream because I tried refreshing my page so that I could see and nothing happened. Now I have a like actually the stream open in the normal window. But you can see there in the overlay over there that it says Emily has second place. in my stream studio, I can see that, but I can't click on it. In the actual stream window I've opened, I can't see it. So I can't click on it. Ah! How weird. I don't know. Maybe the creator has a special place to see it. That is a great question. A great suggestion. I don't know. That is really weird. Maybe it'll explain itself sooner. Is it a very new site where it has that explanation? They are gamifying the chat, which will incentivize more low-quality comments to farm XP. That would be funny. Thank you for the super chat, Emily. It must be first. That would be fun. I'm on my end. What I can say is that, like, if it causes people to want to participate more in the chat and, you know, support the channel a bit more, I don't really mind. But I can see how it'll have a weird effect. Oh. Yeah, I can see there's like an XP in the top from what the Shack shared. Do you get the menu where you can see the top fans thing by clicking your crown up there with the XP? Or is it when you click a different crown? Both. Well, clicking crowns doesn't work for me. I've gotten multiple POVs now of what it looks like. How strange. I mean, and I will say that is something that I've always thought about a little bit. Is that it makes it weirdly complicated for, you know, if there's like, hypothetically, like a really big streamer, it might be really hard for them to tell who has actually like participated more in the channel. But if there's like a system like that, then you would be able to tell. And then of course there's, you know, the artificial pumping of it all. Oh, what? Now I can see it. Now it appeared. I switched to top chat and then the button appeared. From my perspective, it just shows the crown and then in Danish it says biggest fans. And I click that and I can actually see the list. And given that there's so many people on a specific amount of XP, I am pretty confident they have just released this. Like, given that it's slowly appearing now and seeming to like flipping between working and not working, it wouldn't surprise me if it turns out that they basically like turned the keys like 30 minutes ago or something. And then it's like just slowly rolling out. Like, if you think about it, that would possibly be how it would happen, right? Either it would be, well, they activate it and then future streams has it, or it would just activate mid-stream. Is it a per stream thing, or what is it? Oh yeah, it says here it resets after every stream. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. I think That is... So, like, this... Like, I had, like, two minds to this. The first one is... The rank system does, like... A problem that YouTube streams often has had is that there isn't, like... I guess, that much, like, interaction with the stream from the chat, in a way, aside from, like, the communication, I guess. I don't think this is the best solution. But at the same time, it resetting after every stream at least fixes the problem of people, like, gaming it to try and have the highest score. Out of curiosity, second eyelid, did you say you turned it off? In the settings somewhere. Hey Tristan, hope you're doing well. Romilo, and thank you so much for celebrating 20 months as part of the Cult of the Pink. Hope you're doing well and thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. A drunk Lala has gotten home. Chaos be afoot. Oh no, extra chaos. Enjoy your night, Joshua. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, I see. Thank you, Ardell. It appears that it is a personal toggle. As in, the viewer can turn it off. From what I can see, it's not something that I can enable or disable. It's just there now. Because the place where you turn it off is in, like, privacy settings. That has nothing to do with my live stream. That is, I would say that's more like public settings. And it appears that's not in my YouTube Studio settings. It's not so bad, Emily. We reached this point right around when I was going to wrap up the stream anyway. And I feel like this is actually convenient because I imagine some people here would be curious about something like this. And if I don't talk about it, it'll be really difficult to talk about something with about this with someone else, possibly. Right? I'm just checking here if there's anything on my end. No, I don't see anything. mean, Emily, that's it. That is also exactly what I said. That it seems like this might be YouTube's first steps into something even remotely comparable to that. But if it resets after every stream, then it's not that. Then it's definitely not that. This is an experimental feature and currently being rolled out to a select group of creators. Woohoo! I guess. I am... Unlike the Discord tags thing, I am apparently a select group now, instead of getting the tags when everyone had them already. Woohoo! Question mark? Like a hype train kind of thing? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what they're trying to compare it to, I did. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be fun. On the bright side, if you don't want it, you can just turn it off. Give it to the over-analysis guy, he'll love this. Give it to him while he's playing Bard. That'll be awesome. At max level. Oh yeah. Send it now! Riley's doing the boss fight! Go! Go, go! Send it! Immediately! Make him mess up his 2-minute burst! Hurry! So weird. Well, maybe it'll be fun. But I don't see any way to turn it off, at least on my at least not yet. And if it's experimental, that would probably be why. But it does look like just frequently participating in the chat might just gradually give you XP, whereas super chats give you a lot more XP. YouTube knows what a 2-minute burst. Who? Maybe the person doing the send knows. I will say though that the really weird part is that it's like randomly choosing between whether it's visible or not. Like, that's what's really weirding me out. Time to donate every stream to have a crown next to my name. So what made it show for me, Sally, is if you click the live chat in the top and set it to top chat and then back to live chat, it randomly showed it then. Maybe they'll have it working proper next stream. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it'll work better when it was active at the start of the stream. It might also be that it is intentional, that it's not showing it after every message. But that also seems weird. That also seems really weird. And I'm basing that on the fact that where the crowns are on the overlay does not match where they are in the actual studio chat for me. Not at all. Weird, weird, weird. Really strange. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of it personally, but I can't see any way to even interact with it beyond it existing. So I guess the best I can say is let it be known that I didn't turn it on. And I was actively doing something when it activated. So I like the probability that I was like randomly like talk like a thing and then be like, oh, weird guys, huh? Let's interact with it. Try and send something. Like, I didn't do that, and I couldn't possibly have been the one doing that. But there is something, if you don't want to see it, if you personally don't want to see it, if you go to your account settings and go to privacy, under live chat, it should be possible to toggle off leaderboard. So you can escape it if you don't want to know. Like if you don't want to deal with it. Also, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Milo. Thank you so much. Try and send something to you. You say fair enough. I should say that more often, apparently. I have no idea how that works. That is strange. Now, if we give it a moment, we'll figure out whether it's just really slow to update, or whether this new leaderboard system, for whatever reason, doesn't care about membership gifts, which would be weird. On the one hand, it would be weird. On the other hand, I guess I could see the reasoning for that. Maybe YouTube would prefer if it was super chats or something. Enjoy your day, bits. Yeah, I guess they did say it has to be chat activity. I had a little F5 then lost the feature. Does YouTube take money out of memberships? YouTube takes a cut out of everything that goes to the channel, yeah. But I get the majority of it. But they do take a cut. If for me, I'm just saying, for me, all the support I appreciate, and I'm not like, they supported me incorrectly. That's not a thing. But if you are thinking about what gives the most, Ko-fi is the one that technically sends the most directly to me. But there's there's a story there too, because the YouTube money, there are things that that I don't have to pay, whereas with the Ko-fi money there are other things that I do have to pay, like legally. So it's not like Ko-fi gives me twice as much. It's just it technically gives me slightly more. I think, I'm not exactly sure on the exact numbers, but if you're curious, that should be that should be how it works. But for me, I'm just glad that someone would support me at all. So you'll never hear me be like, "Oh man, you did it wrong." Could you imagine? Never ever in my life. Another exposure benefits that YouTube can arrange if you gain more members. If we reach, let me just check my notes on that because it's a little janky. If we one day reach having 300 members for a moment where I'm available, then I will gain 1 additional emote slot. And the reason why I'm saying for just a moment is because the reason why it's a little bit janky is because we actually have more emotes for the members of the channel than we should. Because whenever we've had emote slots, I just put something in. And then YouTube is kind enough to not take backsies the emote slot. If I remove the emote, they'll take backsies the emote slot. But as long as I leave something there, they'll let me have it. And we have enough emote slots for like twice as many members as there actually are, I think. So technically there is a benefit there. But that's really it. So like if we had enough that I could add an additional emote, I would just shove something in, like I'll just put an image and then figure out what I want it to be later. Because as long as I have it, I can just change it. Might I ask what we are at currently, if you're comfortable sharing that? Sure. Let me see. At this very moment, we are at 138 members. Which would mean that it would take 162. And many of the emotes were unlocked by a combination of Merfolk and Ymir donating in bursts. And I told Ymir once when she was about to like go that no, don't not gift me like 120 memberships just for that. Because that's too much. From one person, that's too much. I wouldn't say that, and I wouldn't refuse it if they did, but I said don't do that. Don't do that for an emote slot, right? And that's also what I say when people say I don't have enough money to support them. Like, I mean, watch out for yourself first. Oh no, I wouldn't want anyone to feel like they have to. I'm just happy that people would even consider it. How's it, Yumika? Hope you're doing well. And yeah, exactly, Milo. Exactly. It's too much. Then is a way to support as well. Even like if you have nothing, is like just exactly, Milo. Anyway, with that sudden sidetrack into how money works a little bit, and a new feature being added, and us finishing up mental roulettes. By the way, it's very warm here as well. I should probably have considered whether I should stream in a hoodie. I mean, Bozumika, you can do that. You can do that. You can also share my guides, whether it's role specific or job specific. I do have something. But it depends on what you think works best for the particular individual you're giving to. Enjoy, Malaysia! The reason, Milo, is because we made a tradition of doing mental roulettes in a pink hoodie. But Poseymaker, you could do that. I'm just saying, like, I also have my content, which is like also targeted some degree at new players. So if you think that my content will help, you can do that too. I don't know if it's too detailed. The exact reason why it is so detailed is to make sure that there are no questions. I've heard a lot of new players have specifically enjoyed my content, but if you think that someone else's is better for that, Posumika, go for it. Either way, back to what I was saying. With a little bit of a sidetrack, we did manage to get 12 mental roulettes done. With some crazy ones in between, like being a replacement for expert roulette, of all things. But I think we will be wrapping up the stream here. So if you enjoyed this particular stream, it helps me a lot if you leave a like on it here on YouTube. That tells the algorithm this was an enjoyable stream and you'd like other people to enjoy it as well. So thanks so much in advance. And if you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link in the chat right there. There you'll find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is happening in the coming days. I usually update it Sunday and Monday. And you'll also find links to videos and streams when I put them out in the announcement room. And if you grab the reminder roll, in the role assignments room, you'll get a notification whenever I post a video or stream, as well as an extra one around 15 minutes before stream starts so you can catch it right when we go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can become a member of the channel, you can gift memberships, you can use the super chat system, or if you don't like any of that, there's a Ko-Fi link in the chat from Aerodel right there. It all helps support me and the channel directly so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thanks so much for the support. And I'm glad to hear that, Jack. That is also part of the point, is that it's like a really long guide sometimes, but, you know, you can just watch up to the point that you get, and then you can come back and watch more. That's exactly the idea. So I'm glad. But with that said, good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye-bye.